Franklin Delano Roosevelt was elected into United States presidency in 1932. He began his presidency facing the most severe issue that had rocked the country since the Civil War, the Great Depression. His solution was a series of legislations that came to be called the New Deal. He took immediate action in his first 100 days in office. He was heavily favored among the people and believed in the power of their trust. Because of this, he was the only president to serve more than 2 terms. Roosevelt's chosen method to deal with the nation's problems was considered controversial, but he had to do something to correct the Depression.
Now he waits for advice from Machiavelli to further explain his role as a leader during the Great Depression.
I see that you are currently struggling with how to see the United States through the Great Depression.
Yes, I guess the first question I must ask is, what do you believe caused this terrible problem?
Under Hoover, the wealthy people of your nation were made wealthier. They chose to hoard their money or spend it playing the stock market. Truly, the wish to acquire is no doubt a natural and common sentiment, and when men attempt things within their power, they will always be praised rather than blamed. People were interested in their own gain, as is human nature. They invested in what they didn't have and wanted beyond this fallacy. Because of this, they made a fatal error and deserve the blame for their own horrible circumstances.
I do not wish to punish my people. It's important for them to love and respect me and to trust what I tell them. I believe it is my job to solve this problem, not punish the people for their misguided wrongdoings.
I will say that men are more careful how they offend he who makes himself loved than he who makes himself feared. For love is held by the tie of obligation which, because men are a sorry breed, is broken on every whisper of private interest. But fear is bound by apprehension of punishment, which never relaxes its grasp. I will always say that as a leader it is better to be feared than loved. Love is open to so many faults and is easily taken advantage of. It is important that you are not hated or cruel, but love is not the only important part of leadership.
I disagree. First of all, let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror which paralyzes needed efforts to convert retreat into advance. In every dark hour of our national life is a leadership of frankness and vigor has met with that understanding and supported the people themselves, which is essential to victory. It is better to be honest and to learn the love and trust of the people. When the people fear their leader, a country cannot advance. Fear causes retreat and prevents the progress needed to deal with the issues at hand.
Well, do you not think that your plan of love and truth is failing? I mean, look at the state of your country. Would it not be reasonable to have the appearance of being a lovable man, but to underneath this appearance do whatever it takes to solve the problems at hand? I always say, for so long as neither their property nor their honor is touched, the mass of mankind live contentedly, and the prince has only to cope with the ambition of a few, which can in many ways be easily within bounds.
The United States faces great hardship as we tackle the Great Depression and the harm it has done across the country. I cannot lie to the people. I wish for them to trust me and understand that I am on their side. This is preeminently the time to speak the truth, the whole truth, frankly and boldly. Nor need we shrink from honesty facing conditions in our country today. This great nation will endure as it has endured and receive and will prosper. I do not believe that deceiving the people will lead to a positive result.
While I understand this sentiment, wouldn't a positive ending justify any negative means used along the way? For time driving all things before it may bring with it evil as well as good.
In my first 100 days in office, I believed it important to take immediate action. I pushed the legislation, though, that I believed would help the people. As far as an ends to means relationship goes, I believe that there are many options when looking towards solving great issues like America faces today, but I also believe in the people. Harming them in order to come out on top would be counteracted to my goal as a leader. The end justifies the means only if no one was harmed along the way. The only thought is, did I do the wrong thing in taking such a hasty action to solve the depressional woes?
Realizing what the physicians tell us of hectic fever, that in the beginning it is easy to cure but hard to recognize, whereas after time, not having been detected and treated at first, it becomes easy to recognize but impossible to cure. Your actions were exactly correct. It is good that you spotted a problem and immediately took action. Although a new order is most difficult to plan and pursue, the decision to cure such an overwhelming depression quickly provided good image for the people. The reason for your issue could be that a new plan is so difficult to enforce with your subjects.
The people do seem to be taking my solutions less wholeheartedly than I expected. In fact, as time goes on, I find that the Supreme Court is declaring my plans unconstitutional. What should I do?
Besides what has been said, people are fickle by nature, and it is simple to convince them of something, but difficult to hold them to that conviction, and therefore affairs should be managed in such a way that, when they no longer believe, they can be made to believe by force. The people were quick to accept your plan when times were difficult, but now that the Great Depression is waning, it is difficult to keep them invested in the program. If you believe in this plan, the only option is to assert your dominance in a way that the people around you fear the alternative to the plan. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command.
You continue to come back to this idea that my people must fear me, but I believe that it is much better to see that they are comfortable and happy with my leadership. I will always address my people. I believe that it's important to address them as friends and to ensure that they are at ease and know that I am with them. I address them by radio through a series of what have come called fireside chats. I often talk about my successors, namely Abraham Lincoln, who also faced a trying time in our country. My speeches always include reference to God and encouragement of faith in my people. How do you feel about consulting religion in my successors and my addresses to the people?
Consulting religion can very well make one a success when it comes to power. In fact, ecclesiastical princedoms share this common ground between the people and their prince. Accordingly, these princedoms alone are secure and happy, but inasmuch as they are sustained by agencies of higher nature than the mind of man can reach. Also, in regards to your successors, I believe that it is important to look towards the people that have been successes in the past, and it's a good thing that you have mentioned this in your speeches.
God will always be the ground of which my people and country will lay down upon. If, according to your principles, we cannot rely on God, who are we to look to when we are suffering of a problem such as the Great Depression? There will always be someone in power, but when it is he in power, to whom does he look upon when he is in suffering? Let us never forget that government is ourselves and not alien power over us. The ultimate rulers of our democracy are not a president and senators and congressmen and government officials, but the voters of this country. But you see, Machiavelli, my people are in great sorrow, and I know not who to turn to. If I cannot see God or any religious affiliation, who should I turn to so they may help me through my every struggle?
The wise man should always follow the roads that have been trodden by the great and imitate those who have most excelled, so that if he cannot reach their perfection, he may at least acquire something of its savor. Although Roosevelt, you need to always feel stable and confident in yourself and your decisions. I guarantee that when you begin to rely on what has been successful in the past, and when you make that change, you and your country will be more powerful than ever.
Thank you for this time we spent together, Machiavelli. I will think about what you have said today.
Anytime, Roosevelt. Anytime. You are always welcome. Just remember this. He ought to ask their opinion on everything, and after hearing what they have to say, should reflect and judge for himself.